SNK do everything y'all can to make sure that this Capcom versus SNK or SNK versus Capcom, whichever one come out next, is as dope as it can be, because we know Capcom is a company that's in good graces. People go buy their stuff. People want to play it. If Fatal Fury did this bad, think what happened if they bring back something like The Last Blade and they talking about or Art of Fighting. Think how crazy, think how bad, think how bad they'll do. So next, our topic is, and this came from one of our supporters. We asked like, what would people like us for to discuss, and he actually said that, hey, why don't y'all discuss SNK and does it have a future? Because Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, one thing about it, I like doing this, trying to find stuff to post, being on the timeline pretty frequently. I'm looking and it's like, man, I really don't see like any Fatal Fury on the timeline. Like, I'll see, Street Fighter. Of course, you see Street Fighter all the time. You're always seeing like whatever news they got coming up to date. You seeing Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear has been like, with all the updates and stuff that they've been on the timeline a lot more recently. I'm not seeing Fatal Fury. And then when I go and I search Fatal Fury, like in the search, the stuff that I'm seeing I don't see people posting up a lot of clips of it. Mostly what you're going to see is just like, hey, this tournament is coming up. EWC is coming up. If you want to play in Fatal Fury in this tournament, it's really not like people truly like engaging, like, just talking about like, man, this game's so dope and stuff like that. And it's sad that it just came out like this, but I guess it is what it is. But, so at this point, like, what do y'all think SNK could do to really like get themselves going? Because we had so much more like hope and anticipation for this. What do y'all think like the future of them is looking like? What could they do to be better? Just so your overall opinion on what the future is looking like and what it could look like for SNK. So we'll start with you, MC Mason.
Well, the thing about SNK, and I've kind of felt like this for a while, is that, and I know a lot of people loved it. All right, so I'm going to say, like, don't crucify me for this, but I feel like SNK, if they really want to have a future, in my mind, they kind of like, you're going to have to kind of go the same way as like some of the more modern fighting games are going, which is I feel like the last few games, most of the games that they make, like we're talking King of Fighters, like the Fatal Fury game that they just brought out, the Samurai Showdown, all these games are as unappealing to beginners as possible. Like they're basically as unappealing to beginners as you can possibly make them, or people who we would consider casual gamers. Now that's cool if you're somebody who plays fighting games and you like a challenge, and that's great. But the problem is that most of the people who buy these games, and we said this before, most people who buy the games are going to be casual players. Like they're the people who consume video games the most. It's like you might like watch a tournament of like King of Fighters or Fatal Fury and be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And they might be sitting there and they're watching and they're enjoying it. Yeah, this is awesome. But did they buy the game though? Did they buy the game? Because if they didn't buy the game and they think that, oh man, like, and they get the word of mouth, they'd be like, bro, that game is really difficult to play. They're probably not going to buy it because they don't want to go and be confronted with the fact that they have no idea what they're doing. Like nobody wants to be confronted with the fact that like, man, I really don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to, we just talked about like 2D fighters being more difficult and having a higher threshold of entry than like 3D fighters. And it goes double for like SNK games. Like I think those games are way more difficult to actually for beginners to get into than it is for like even for games like Street Fighter or even Under Night. Like I would say Under Night is like an easier game to get into for beginners than SNK. And for me, I feel like that's saying something. I think in addition to that, I think like they might want to work on the way that they allocate their funds, because you can advertise a game all the way to high heaven, but if like you haven't put any money into the actual look of the game itself, like we're talking about the menus, maybe even with the music, like for me, SNK, you don't even need to make new music at this point. Just recycle the old music. I'd rather you just recycle the old music in some cases. But like the actual look of the game, like you gotta, it has to look appealing, man. It has to look appealing. The game has to be like a beginner friendly, casual friendly, because if you don't have casuals buying your game, like I took martial arts for a long time. And one thing my sensei used to say all the time, he's like, who is the most important person in your art? And it's like, well, obviously you. He's like, no, it's the beginner, because without the beginner, the art will die. And that's true. You have to have people, new people coming in, fresh blood coming in for your game to, or whatever you want, like to actually succeed. Otherwise, like you have like the hardcore people, they've already bought the game. They're not gonna buy it. Like you need to like attract people who haven't bought the game to buy your game so you can continue to make money off of it. So unless you like, they're basically, if you don't like make some changes to, they make some simple changes to the way that they do things, they are doomed to obscurity. Like Rexon was saying, how often do you see people talking about Fatal Fury City of the Wolves? That game was everywhere before it came out. Why? Because they advertised it. They advertised the heck out of it. It was on WWE, the commercials. It was everywhere. They're doing the crossover with Street Fighter. Where is it now? Nobody cares, because the game came out and people realized, oh, wait, I can't play this. I'm a casual. So come on, man. Like, if you really want, if they really want to, like, I listen, I understand, like, people like their games the way they are. I get it. And you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to. But if you want to make money, if you want to make money now, then you're going to have to, like, so, like, you're going to have to, what's called cast your net a little bit wider if you really want to make some money and ensure that the games, like the games that you like playing, that the games that they like making are going to be able to be like funded in the future. So that's just my take, man.
Or you might have some left there, Mr. Gamer.
I mean, I'm really kind of on the same side as he. It's just, I don't know. SNK was already in a weird spot once before, like a very weird spot of like, like what is going to happen with this company? Like, are they just going to like fade away? Are they still going to make fighting games like they have been? And then we kind of, we got 14. 14 came out and was really interesting when it first was showing off because it looked like a Sega Dreamcast game. People were making memes about it with the PS1 logo with the cover on it. And that game kind of managed to skate by. They made some updates to it. 15 comes along and looks a lot better visually and just overall as a game. And it had, I think it had its own like kind of level of success. Had Samurai Showdown. But yeah, it's like their games just like they're just not really hitting the same level of like something like Capcom. They're their 2D rival pretty much. And this game coming out, I mean, like it's so weird, like the shift between when it was first shown off to when it came out. And really when the beta was available, because like the shift from then to the beta was like you play the beta, it's like, I don't know about this one. It was really, really, really looking scuff. And they brought the second beta out, and it was better in some regards, mainly the connection issues that we were having, like getting matches. That was kind of alleviated, but there was still so many other things. I'm like, man, like for y'all to have so much money circulating around, this game looks very like, I don't know. I still personally think that the best part of the game for me is a fun game. Like it's the fun game to play, like the combos and stuff, how you can just like you can special move in a special move, which is kind of a SNK thing, like kind of similar to like KOF with the HD cancels and stuff like that. So I love that type of stuff. So that's pretty cool. I still think the visuals of the characters, for me personally, I like the visuals of how they look. The stages, to me, I still think need work. I do like some of the music. The collab music, wasn't a big fan of that. And that's kind of part of this problem too. Is like, I know y'all had to spend money for that because those were like some known names that y'all had in there for like these collab tracks. So like, I know unless they were fans of the game and they just did it off the merits, like, hey, I like KOF and SNK fighting games. I want to make some music for these games. I know y'all had to pay those people, just like Cristiano Ronaldo and Salvatore. I know y'all had to pay those guys pretty well to have their likeness in this game. And all that, like you mentioned, the advertising for this game. It was at WWE. It was at a boxing match. It was at you had iShowSpeed and KSI having a little commercial for you. Have this like you had to pay those guys because they're big name social media guys, personalities. So it's like I'm sure like there was so much money thrown around for this, but it's like when you look at the state of the game, it's like, man, like nobody's playing this. It didn't sell that well. And people will say, oh, we know it's more than Steam numbers. Like, no, this game overall just didn't sell well. Like I can guarantee you that people on Steam is almost, you can probably compare the numbers are comparable from console numbers. This game has not sold well. And again, like E mentioned, it is because like SNK games tend to be harder. We were just got done talking about the 2D topic. KOF, those games are just harder. Like they're harder to play than Street Fighter. Like execution wise, you got to be on point. You got half circle back, double half circle backs, half circle back forward, half circle back, quarter circle forward. There's so many crazy inputs in this game. You got characters like Ash, where you got to press like you got to do like a raging demon input, and then you do like a combo full of flash kicks, like flash kick, Sonic Boom, flash kick, Sonic Boom, like stuff like that. Just people is hard to get into. Also, we mentioned before on the podcast, Garo, Mark of the Wolves, hadn't been around forever. So a lot of people kind of don't know what it is unless you were back in that era and you were older and you knew what those games were. But we're talking about a new audience. They're like, what is this? Like, oh, this is separate from KOF. Oh, wait, this character's in KOF. Like, so what's the difference between these? So I don't know. I just think that they can have a future if they start to allocate their funds right. All this Saudi money got to start going to places that actually matter. Because we also got the like the World Championship. I forgot what it's called, but it's like what 2.5 million up for that, or 1.5 if I'm not mistaken. So it's like that's a lot of money. And again, I mentioned earlier, I've said this before, with multiverses, they led with their wallets first, and we see where that game's at. Like you can't lead with your wallet like that and try to force the competitive scene. The competitive scene is going to grow because people like playing the game. I've said this before. Now, money is a great motivator, but if you just have a great game and a great product and you put out money, people are just going to come play, right? But if you're just saying, hey, I mean, you got your hardcore people. You got people like Xiaohai. He's going to probably go in and just make so much money off this game because he likes these games. He's good at these games. And he's been playing them for so long. So people like him is like, it's great for because like I'm just going to go make $1 million because I'm like one of the best in these games. I don't know. I just think that they're going to have to start like switching up the fund allocations to make sure the game is a good product first. This is, in the gaming world now, this is a kind of a topic of like games being good and people still not giving them chances. There's some stuff happened recently with Xbox or Microsoft, but that's a whole other thing. But it kind of correlates is like make the game good first and then do the other stuff second. They did this whole, and again, I say they did this whole Cristiano Ronaldo thing, and I have yet to see anybody really play the character. People were playing Salvatore more than they were playing Cristiano, and people were kind of upset about Salvatore when he first came out. Man, who is this DJ? I don't know him. And then people were playing him way more than they were playing Cristiano. I don't know. At this point, I like KOF games. I love fighting games in general, so I want to see more fighting games be made. But with SNK, if they want to keep competing, they got to start doing something different. Because this City of the Wolves was supposed to have been a big hit game. It was one of them. People were like, man, it's going to be one of them ones, man. And unfortunately, it was not. It's kind of one of those MVCI situations. It's a fun game to play. It is hard. It's a fun game to play. But, it just didn't. Overall, the game just wasn't that great of a package, So hopefully they can hang in there.
Well, I'm going to try to make this as thorough and concise as I can, as quick as I can. I ain't trying to get socked in my pie hole if I miss a game and left. But
I don't think I'm gonna do
to
that.
be fair to Fatal Fury, you're not the only one in the FGC that's really having issues right now. Because if we talk about all the games that are supposed to be like the big creme de la creme of in the FGC right now, that really most of them, well, a good bit of them aren't doing too good. Of course, we got Street Fighter. Street Fighter's been holding it down. Season 3 just came out. Elena just came out. We got the future characters that's going to come out. So God is the one that they're pushing the most right now because he's next. They're in a pretty good state. The most people can say about Street Fighter 6 right now is, hey, I never really liked the game. And at this point, they're basically saying that we're going to keep the game the way it is. So it's kind of at a point to where either you like Street Fighter 6 or you don't. But at the end of the day, it's doing pretty well. Mortal Kombat, we already know about that. Tekken is in a situation where their creators are content creators and their scene is coming out right now. Like, look, Tekken, this is your last chance. We already know what happened when season 2 came out. It was pretty crazy. They switched it up a little bit. They made it better, but still, I just watched a video yesterday where a dude was like, most people in the scene right now would probably say, I'd rather just go back to season 1 version of the game than stick with this. And Tekken and already came out and basically said, look, like, we got some big tournaments coming up. This next patch that we got coming out is really the last patch we want to like put out before we go into our season, because we don't want to switch too much stuff in the season. If it get too crazy, we will, but we really don't want to. So we're kind of gonna see what happens with Tekken right now. Because whatever this next patch they put out, I hope you hit, because y'all basically saying this gonna be it until we get into the tournament scene. So Tekken's not doing too fair right now. Guilty Gear Strive is just kind of at a place to where like it's kind of like old now. Honestly, we know Marvel Tokon is coming, so that's probably going to replace that. We got this Lucy news. They say a patch is coming with that, but really, honestly, Guilty Gear is kind of at a place where it's kind of riding off into the sunset. So we're really at a place where only Street Fighter is really holding it down. Because I mean, of course, you got Grand Blue, Under Night, and stuff like that. But really, we know anime fighters really. The FGC just kind of, we respect them, but the FGC just kind of treats them like they're there, like they're kind of like add-ons, you know. So as far as like the stuff that's making the scene move, like a lot of stuff really isn't moving right now except for Street Fighter 6. So when you look at Freddy Furious City of the Wolves numbers, every month it's went down. Their average players have went down monthly. It started off, you know, of course, the big boom in the beginning was like 2,300. Then the next month was 821. Then after that, it dropped all the way down to 255. Then again, it dropped in the last 30 days to 231. So it's been dropping in average players every month. Which I mean ain't good, honestly. It's not good. And it's sad to say, because I know a lot of people can say like, oh well, it's just Steam numbers. Look, SNK got $1 million tournament coming up with the SNK championships. Then you got the EWC. I feel like with a situation like that, a rising tide should raise all boats. If that was really interesting, people, we should see an interest increase across everywhere. So we should be able to see it in Steam. We've been knowing this tournament is coming up for a while. Why are these numbers steadily decreasing? So either they're not doing a good job at marketing that this tournament is happening, that so much money is on the line, or people just don't care because they don't really like the game. My thing I would tell SNK to do is just kind of, I'm not saying you're being prideful, but let's just make sure we're swallowing our pride and let's do what obviously is going to work. Capcom right now is kind of in a situation where we were wondering what's happening next, CVS 2 or Marvel vs. Capcom 4. I don't think Marvel vs. Capcom 4 is happening right now. One, because of the hints we've been getting, it seems like Capcom is leaning more towards going the SNK route. Capcom versus SNK. We know one SNK re-release SNK versus Capcom Chaos. We know that they both will put guest characters from each game into their respective games. We know it's seeming like that they're hinting that they're going to work together. Then on top of that, like I said, Marvel Tokon is coming out right now. So it's coming out soon. So I don't think it would be a good thing for Capcom to come out and just be like, bumping, we go release MVC4 anyway, we go see who the big dog is. I don't think that would be a smart thing to do. So just go ahead and go towards working with SNK route, and SNK do everything y'all can to make sure that this Capcom versus SNK or SNK versus Capcom, whichever one come out next, is as dope as it can be, because we know Capcom is a company that's in good graces. People go buy their stuff. People want to play it. If you can ride off the wave of that, ride that wave, and then whatever y'all put out next, because y'all talking about y'all want to revive other dead genres and stuff like that. Look, if Fatal Fury did this bad, think what happened if they bring back something like The Last Blade, and they talking about or Art of Fighting. Think how bad they'll do. So ride the wave or whatever y'all gonna do with Capcom. Let that settle for a minute. Everybody have fun with that. Let y'all characters get in people's good graces. And then whatever you release after that, it need to be a big hitter. It probably need to be like another KOF, honestly, and make that KOF look like the best KOF y'all never had. Come out swinging. Take all that money that y'all put in marketing and put it in the game. I mean, if we had a KOF 13 part 2, everybody in the people who don't even care nothing about KOF know about KOF 13 because when you look at it, it's just captivating. It's just captivating. Most people know that game just based off like, oh, you talking about that game that just looked like the prettiest thing I've ever seen in my life? Like that's good. Like have something about your game. This game, what are people saying about this game that stands out, that sticks out, that they want to keep playing it? What? Nothing. So people ain't even talking about this. Like you literally have to go search it in the search engine in Twitter for to go find what people talking about it. And it's mostly just, I don't know what happened. I guess somebody sending ninjas out here trying to attack my vocal cords or something. But I gotta basically search for it, and then basically everybody just talking about I got a tournament coming up. So y'all need to basically just ride Capcom's wave. Stick with Capcom because we know whatever Capcom release is going to catch attention. Make sure that goes well, and y'all capitalize off that because obviously what y'all trying to do by yourselves is not working. So do the smart thing. I mean, because at the end of the day, y'all do this with Capcom. 10 years from now, if it work, ain't nobody go be sitting here caring and saying like, well, if it wasn't for Capcom, they'd be dead anyway. Ain't nobody go care. Everybody gonna be having fun. So anything anybody else want to add?
Well, first off, I think people will definitely be saying that. They would definitely say that for real. They would.
Haters would, of course, haters would, but most people gonna be playing the game.
Because they'd be like, well, I mean, because then you'd have to ask, when was the last time SNK came out with a game that was like, they're all, because I feel like they've already done that before, right? We've already had two Capcom versus SNK games. They've had the chance to ride the wave with Capcom in the past, and it's like, okay, so what have you learned? What did you learn? I don't know.
Well, we ain't gonna really know because Saudi over it now. Like it's not like Saudi was around during that time, so we hopefully do it again.
I'm just saying it's like it's not like they were. I'm just saying it's not like they were particularly successful at during that time anyway. Before Saudi got involved. What I'm saying, and it doesn't seem like much has changed now. I mean, it's like we got more money to throw at advertising. It's like, okay, but are you going to change some of the way that you actually make your game? Because it doesn't matter how much money you got, if you're not going to change your approach, then you might as well it's dead in the water. You're DOA anyway. But the one thing I wanted to touch on is like Rexon talking about people, and it's like I feel like we kind of touch on this every single time we talk about this game. It's like, oh well, the Steam numbers, it's like, bro, I'm sorry, is it a different game on the other consoles? Is it like, is it a completely different game when you play it on Xbox or PlayStation? No, it's the same game. So if it is the same game with the same problems and the same downfalls and the same lackluster menu, then chances are that the numbers are going to be similar, if not the same. So I don't know, like the whole with Steam, come on, man, don't do that to yourself. It's ridiculous, like that's a non-point. Like that's not it. It's a moot point, bro. It's the same game across there. It's not going to change if I played the game on Xbox, it's not gonna be, oh man, you know what? This game is a lot more appealing on Xbox because they added like all these extra characters and they changed like the way all the characters play, and they fixed rev blow on the Xbox and the PlayStation. Wow, like there's no way I would go back to playing this on Steam. No, it's the same game. So you can basically extrapolate that the numbers are going to be basically the same. That it's like the numbers definitely aren't going to be growing. I don't know, man. It just doesn't make sense.
I say I'll give them one grace with that. Maybe because I think at this point, I think you could say that the more hardcore gamer is on PC, and the gamer that's more like into certain games is like being good at them, I would say, are on PC, and more casuals have consoles. So I could see that maybe saying, hey, or the more casuals are on the consoles. So maybe that you could say like the number will be higher because of that. Because I mean I think personally, I think more hardcore gamers play on PC. Kind of for them. I don't know if I'm right about it. I just feel that way. Like when it because like a casual gamer, they're not gonna buy a PC. They're gonna just get a console. So I think maybe they would have a case there. Maybe like, oh well, you know, it's more casuals on consoles. But I still think the numbers is probably bad on consoles, you know, still. So
yeah, because I mean, like you said, like if most people who are buying consoles are casuals, then I would feel like by that the numbers would be lower, right? Because the game is not casual friendly anyway. So you know, I mean, you know, I just like the game is just not that casual friendly. It. I mean, especially like even when you're like a beginner person, like you're like level 1 beginner, rookie, whatever level you are, and you go on to do a random battle online and you say, give me somebody who's close to my level. They never do that, by the way. It never happens. So they're going to put you in a match with somebody who's like way above your rank, number one, and you're going to get bodied, man. You're just going to get bodied, like straight up. Like it's and if you're like a casual player and you're just trying to like, you know, make something happen on screen and the other person is pressuring you and they're playing Salvatore and they're flying through the air and they're stomping and stuff like that and you have no idea what's going on, then you're going to be like, well, I'm not playing this game anymore.
I'll say this. SNK, I mean, we're kind of at an era where it sucks to say, but it's kind of like you either got to get with it or you got to get lost. In this era where we got AI, you know, modern controls, easy mechanics, you know, easy for everybody to get into, the industry has gotten to a point where it's so expensive to make the stuff that you want to make. You have no choice but to make the greater gaming audience. You know, far the days are gone to where like you can release a fighting game and it sells whatever, and it seems like these companies somehow still had enough money to make 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, whatever. Nowadays, if you don't make a game and it hits a certain number as far as like what it's gonna sell, it's OVA. It's OVA. So you're kind of at a point where you're forced to appeal to a lot of audience, and you know, a lot of people talk about Tekken and Street Fighter, like, man, y'all leaning way too more towards this, y'all doing way too much towards that. I mean, that's because now it costs so much to make these games. You're probably gonna have to lean towards that way, or else you finna do something else that's gonna make somebody else mad. Let's just go ahead and say, like, okay, our fighting game division here at Capcom, let's go ahead and cut it in half. We're gonna cut it in half because we only gonna make fighting games that appeal to the people who telling us we need to stay a certain way so we can keep our true identity, not lean more towards casuals and whatever. Then people be mad, like, oh man, everybody done lost their jobs. But it's just the way that stuff is right now. I mean, it's just the way it goes. It's kind of like how people feel about AI right now. Like a lot of people in the community hate AI. They wish it wasn't this, they wish it wasn't that. But we've gotten to the point where AI is already here. For a lot of people, a lot of businesses and stuff, it's like either you're gonna get with it or you're gonna get lost. Like what Harada said about AI, we hate that it is like that, but it's probably more towards probably gonna go that way. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, business is about money. They trying to do what they can to make some money. And we understand that stuff used to be this way, but it's not that way no more. Stuff is not the way that we used to enjoy or think about stuff like 20 some years ago. You know, we talking about like how like people our age, we're talking about, man, how gaming was in the 90s. It's 2025. Like a lot every industry that you've ever known from the 90s to now has changed. If they didn't, they out of here. So I agree with them. Like SNK, you're gonna have to do something that makes your stuff more appealing to audiences. It's great that y'all tried to keep that true identity of just like, man, this a well-honed whatever fighting game, but it's a reason why you're not seeing the big wigs make stuff like that no more. We saw when Guilty Gear Strive came out, a lot of people was upset about Guilty Gear, like, man, this ain't Guilty Gear, this ain't this ain't that, this ain't the other. But then what did Tekken and Street Fighter do once their games came out? The same thing. It's a reason why, like, they got to get as many people to touch this game as they can. And it sucks, but fighting games throughout this time has been a genre that ain't for everybody. But they got to make it to where it's a genre that can be almost for anybody if they want to survive. So
Yeah.
It sucks, but it just it just is what it is. Like the stuff is already here. Like the change it's already here. It's a reason why all these new fighting games and stuff we're seeing coming out right now, whether it's Tokon, whether it's the Invincible game, whether it's whatever, like they're already talking about easier controls, simpler controls. Stuff is gonna be like this for all these audiences to get into. It's a reason for it. So SNK, like, it's honorable what you did, trying to come out and just try to be that game that's just like, hey man, we're as even, we're as fine tuned as a fighting offensive and defensive options. You got both. It's probably a way you can do it, but y'all just didn't do it in a way that was just as appealing, So
Yeah.
it is what it is. But anybody got anything else to add?
Nah, I think we done pretty much, like I said, if something don't happen, man, it ain't gonna be looking too good for them, man.
Yeah. And the thing is like Rexon said, it's like, we appreciate what y'all have done, trying to make a game, like, make games and keep them, keep your core values intact. But what's going to happen is like, it's great that you kept your core values intact, but it's like, you're not going to be able to make any money, man. Cause off the top, just like from the way you guys feel, like the impression you get, do you feel like this game has made back the money that they spent on the advertising? Just
I don't even know
the
if the game did
advertising?
well if they make it back.
Yeah,
How much
exactly.
they spent.
Like, how about do you think that they recoup their losses from the actual development of the game? Even that, do you think they even got the money back for actually developing the game? I'm asking. Do you guys think that? Do you think that they did that?
Not at all.
No,
Yeah,
because no.
yeah. It's you guys. It's so the likelihood that we're going to see another Mark of the Wolves game. I mean, I don't know, man. Unless they like just force another one, they say, "Hey, we're going to do one regardless." It just doesn't seem very likely.
Yeah,
And
if anybody got the money to blow, it'd be salty, but it just depends on how much do you really care about this to just see red and just be like, no, we're gonna do it again.
yeah, it's like what? Like you're just going to keep putting good money after bad. You're just going to keep just like pouring money into this, hoping that one day people are going to like, if it, like there's going to be a switch and people are just going to be like, you know what? I'm a hardcore gamer now. I'm going to put all I have into playing this game. Just off of looking at it. Especially if they've had a bad experience, not even a bad experience, because that's subjective, right? Like you considering that when you lose a fight, that's a bad experience. But if you look at it as a learning experience, then it's not really all that bad, but it's all about perspective. But anyway, that's the important thing is, if you view the experience you had as a bad experience, chances are you're not going to try to put yourself through that again. You're going to be like, the next time the game comes out, like, well, I didn't have such a good experience with the last Mark of the Wolves Fatal Fury game. I'm not going to buy this one. So that person's already out. Like, I think that's like one of the Tekken 8 is kind of like way off the rails right now as far as I'm concerned. But the thing about it is that one of the reasons why Tekken 8 was so successful, especially when it came out, was because Tekken 7 was like it was just like that good of a game, and it appealed to a bunch of different people because it's like this kind of feeds back into the topic we had before about 3D fighters being easier to get into. It's like, it was a game that was easy to get into, and then like, when it gets harder the further along you go, but you can't just have a game be hard, like difficult for people to get into at the beginning and then expect that, we're going to have like this big gigantic player pool. That's just not going to happen. Like it's going to be it's a niche game, and you're keeping it that way. And I don't, there has to be like, if you could maybe like open it up a little bit at the beginning for people to get used to like playing the game and have them steadily build up. And then like, I feel like that would be a little bit better. I don't know how exactly, I'm not a developer. I'm not exactly sure how you would do that. I think don't they have like a modern control scheme in Fatal Fury City of the Wolves anyway? Like they have something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So a lot of people say it really kind of just is really not worth playing.
Oh wow. Okay, so never mind then. So, yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Like you guys are gonna have to change something. There's got to be maybe get some new blood in the some fresh faces, some like some fresh eyes to look at the projects that you're doing. Because I mean, how much more money are you going to spend on like on projects like this that you bring out and you really push? I mean, really, it's not even like, oh, we had a couple commercials. Like they've really pushed this product. They really pushed it, and it was marketed at being, like we're saying, like as being the next big fighting game. Even we were discussing it on here that this was going to be a big deal when it came out, and then it was a big deal for like 5 minutes, and then like everybody kind of forgot that it was there. Like
one last thing I'll say too is just, man, they kind of put themselves in a position where there's really no hype to look forward to in the future. I mean, you got like the game that already came out. It is what it is. You got to pay $70 for it, and the first whole season of DLC is already known. So it's kind of like, all right, what secret surprises and stuff do we have to look forward to in the future? Because mostly characters are the things that's going to, rile you up to be like, ooh, like I probably got to get my hands on that now. But with everything all revealed right now, unless people are just sitting here saying like, man, I like Fatal Fury, but I ain't finna play it until Ken come out. Unless that's like, and then, Mr. Big being the dude that's the last one. I mean, it's not like that's like the thing that's in it with a bang. So unless people sitting around just talking about I'm waiting for Ken and Chun-Li, I mean, all their hand is already known. They were hoping just, overloading in the first half would make people go ahead and get into it and last them. But what we're looking forward to now, it seemed like the thing that the most they can do is just go back to the drawing board, look at what they could probably make into the game, and then come back with some Super Street Fighter 4, the Super Street Fighter 4 update, like basically like a refreshing whole new mechanics to the game and stuff like that kind of makes it feel like a new game. That seems like that's all we have to look forward to, because all the hand is shown right now. Like, and if all that hype ain't making people playing it, and then $1 million tournaments ain't got people playing it, what they got to look forward to?
Right. It's really funny you say that, because you remember when King of Fighters 15 was coming out. I mean, they would have like a character reveal like every few weeks, like every month or something like that. And it was kind of like yeah, exactly, right. And they were like drip feeding you the roster, over time. So even if you weren't thinking about it at the moment, then they'd be like, oh, by the way, like, oh, the King's gonna be in the game, Ryuji's gonna be in the game, Geese Howard's gonna be in the game, Billy Kane's gonna be in the game, like all like constantly drip feeding you the reveals for the characters. Yashiro's gonna be in the game, Shermie, like all these different characters, and these were characters that are already established from older games. That it's real weird, because it's like this isn't a different company; it's the same company. So it's like you guys had a strategy that worked before to keep people invested in your game, and then you decided to completely go away from that and then just reveal the whole roster at the same time. And it just, like, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it worked before, and I mean, I was hyped. I mean, those of you who are watching the videos that we were doing at those times, where we were like, every time a character dropped, like I was on here, like just spazzing out, like about every character that came out. Like I was legitimately excited. Like every time, like, I'm telling you, it's going to be every single time, because like I was excited. I was really, really excited. I mean, like when they revealed the roster, I mean, it's cool. I think Mr. Big's a cool character personally. But I can tell you, I know for sure that Mr. Big is not that big of a deal to a lot of other people, So I mean, probably would have gone for a crossover character. If it were me, I would have gone for a crossover character from like Street Fighter or something to be the last character. So I don't know. I don't know who I would have gotten. The characters that come off the top, Bison, Akuma, something like that, to be like the last character for like season 1. But I'm not a developer, like I said. I just feel
Akuma
like,
get it
and
lit
even
everywhere he go.
Huh?
So Akuma gets it lit everywhere he go.
Basically, I mean, if you wanted to like the recipe for success is like doing like characters that are going to get some pop. Like all those characters are cool, but then like the haymaker you throw at the end, though, you throw out Akuma or somebody like that, I mean, that would have been pretty great. But I mean, here we are. Maybe next season, if they have one, will be better. And this also feeds back into that topic a while back when I said I don't know if we're going to be. We might see City of the Wolves this year at Evo, but I don't know if we're going to see it next year. The way things are going, I don't know if we're going to see it in Evo 2026. So we'll see what happens, man. But if they don't change, I don't know if they don't change something, then chances are like it'll basically be in the bathroom right next to the Melty Blood. So,
Hey man, the wet stall weeklies, man. Y'all can be in there, bro.
That's hilarious.
But